3I Atlas, a third ever interstellar object observed from Earth, currently racing through our solar system.
What if this object isn't a comet, and it isn't an asteroid either? 3I Atlas isn't just another space rock passing by. It's only the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected, and the questions it raises are nothing short of mind-blowing. From its bizarre trajectory to theories that hint at artificial origins, this cosmic visitor has scientists debating, and the answers could reshape how we think about the universe. Stick around, because we're breaking down the most shocking theories behind 3I Atlas, and you won't want to miss where this story leads. The discovery that shook the astronomy world. It's the 1st July 2025. Astronomers at the Atlas telescope in Chile are doing their usual routine scan of the night sky when suddenly their computers start going crazy. They've spotted something that shouldn't exist, at least not here, not now. What they found was 3I Atlas, only the third confirmed interstellar object to ever visit our solar system. But here's where things get absolutely wild. This isn't just any space rock. This thing is massive. It's moving faster than anything we've seen before, and it's displaying behaviors that have the entire scientific community scratching their heads. Let me put this into perspective for you. When Oumuamua visited us back in 2017, it was maybe the size of a football field. When Borisov came through in 2019, it was a bit bigger. But 3I Atlas, this beast is potentially several kilometers across. That's like having an entire mountain flying through space from another star system. The discovery sent shockwaves through NASA, ESA, and every major observatory on Earth. Within hours, telescopes around the globe were pivoting to track this cosmic intruder. Social media exploded with speculation, and suddenly everyone was asking the same question. What exactly is this thing? The alien spacecraft theory that won't die. Now, here's where things get really interesting, and honestly, a little bit scary. Almost immediately after the discovery, whispers started spreading through the scientific community. Was 3I Atlas really just a comet, or could it be something else entirely? Enter Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist.
My name is Avi Loeb. I'm the Frank B. Bird Junior Professor of Science,
who famously suggested that Oumuamua might have been alien technology. This guy doesn't mess around. He's one of the most respected scientists in the field, and when he talks, people listen. And what he's been saying about 3I Atlas has been keeping astronomers awake at night. Loeb recently created what he calls the technological scale, a rating system from 0 to 10 that measures how likely an object is to be artificial rather than natural. And guess what? 3I Atlas is scoring higher than anything we've seen before. But here's the thing that's got everyone talking in hushed tones. The object's trajectory and behavior patterns are unusual. It's not following the path you'd expect from a typical comet. It's almost like it's making course corrections, tiny adjustments that seem too precise to be natural. Now, before you start packing your alien invasion survival kit, let's be clear. Most scientists still believe 3I Atlas is a natural object, but the fact that serious researchers are even having these conversations tells you just how extraordinary this visitor really is. The red mystery that has everyone puzzled. Here's where our story takes another bizarre twist. In August 2025, a team led by Tony Santana Ross published findings that absolutely stunned the scientific community. They discovered that 3I Atlas was changing color. Specifically, it was getting redder as it traveled closer to our sun. Now, you might think, okay, so what? Things change color in space all the time. But you'd be wrong. This kind of dramatic color shift in such a short time period is almost unprecedented. It's like watching a chameleon in fast forward, except we're talking about an object that's potentially billions of years old. The implications are staggering. If 3I Atlas is changing color this rapidly, it means its surface composition is evolving in real time. But what could cause such dramatic changes? Solar radiation, internal chemical reactions, or, and this is where things get really wild, could it be some kind of adaptive material responding to our solar system's environment? Scientists are throwing around terms like unprecedented cometary activity and evolving surface composition, but between you and me, I think they're just as baffled as the rest of us. When the experts start using words like unprecedented, you know you're dealing with something truly extraordinary. The October Encounter. Mark your calendars, space fans, because October 2025 is going to be absolutely historic. That's when 3IATLAS will make its closest approach to our Sun.
There is a date marked on the calendar, October 2025, when 3I Atlas will pass close to Mars.
Swinging just inside Mars' orbit. And here's the kicker. This might be our one and only chance to truly understand what this thing is. The timing is both perfect and terrifying. Perfect because we'll have the best view we'll ever get of this interstellar visitor. Terrifying because if something goes wrong, if 3IATLAS turns out to be more than just a comet, October is when we'll find out. NASA has mobilized every available resource to study this encounter. The Hubble Space Telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope, and dozens of ground-based observatories are all being coordinated in what might be the largest astronomical observation campaign in history. It's like the entire scientific community is holding its breath, waiting to see what secrets 3IATLAS will reveal when it gets up close and personal with our Sun. But here's the part that's got everyone on edge. Earth will be on the opposite side of the Sun during the peak of this encounter. We'll be flying blind for crucial days, relying entirely on our space-based instruments and Mars rovers to be our eyes and ears. It's like trying to solve the mystery of the century with one hand tied behind our back. What the space agencies aren't telling us. 3I Atlas has quickly become one of the most puzzling objects in modern astronomy.
3I Atlas is streaking through our solar system right now.
Because of patterns in its behavior that don't align with anything scientists have seen before. Its trajectory adjustments, which should appear random in a natural object, instead seem to follow a subtle but consistent pattern, almost as though the object is responding to forces or influences that we don't yet understand. For seasoned astronomers, this is more than unusual. It challenges the very models they've relied on for decades. To be clear, there is no confirmed evidence that 3IATLAS is artificial or connected to alien intelligence. Yet the anomalies are difficult to ignore. The object has shown behavior that looks like calculated course corrections, and even its reflected signals appear to follow consistent intervals when bouncing back to Earth. While this could have natural explanations, such consistency makes some experts quietly wonder if they're witnessing something more than just cometary physics. Several astronomers have started using the phrase 3IATLAS anomalies to describe these unexplained behaviors. Each deviation from the predictions could, on its own, be written off as error or chance. But when you put all the irregularities together, a troubling picture emerges. These aren't one-off mistakes. They seem to add up to something systematic. The feeling among some researchers is that the object acts in ways that look intentional. Adding to the unease are reports that the object seems to respond when closely monitored. One anonymous researcher even described it as if 3IATLAS were learning from observation. Whenever telescopes zero in on it, its reflectivity and thermal signature shift slightly, as though it is aware of being watched. This is, of course, speculation, but the consistent reports of subtle changes during targeted observation sessions are giving weight to suspicions that the object is not behaving like any ordinary comet. The secrecy surrounding official data has only amplified the mystery. While NASA and ESA have been open about much of their work, gaps in released information are impossible to ignore. Some scheduled observation windows have been abruptly cancelled, and certain frequency ranges that would normally be shared have been classified. Official reasons range from technical difficulties to scheduling conflicts, but many scientists aren't convinced. One insider even hinted that emergency protocols for unusual scenarios have been triggered for the first time in the program's history. Whatever is happening with 3IATLAS, it seems clear that we are not being told the full story. The mini-probe theory that's keeping scientists awake. Remember Avi Loeb, the Harvard scientist I mentioned earlier? Well, he's back with a theory that's simultaneously brilliant and absolutely terrifying. He's suggesting that 3IATLAS might be a carrier system for smaller probes. Think about it. If you were an advanced civilization wanting to explore other star systems, would you send one massive spacecraft, or would you send a mothership that could deploy smaller, more maneuverable exploration units? The latter makes a lot more sense from an engineering perspective. Loeb's team has identified what they're calling micro-signatures in 3IATLAS's thermal emissions, tiny fluctuations that could indicate the presence of smaller objects within or attached to the main body. These signatures are so subtle that they're right at the edge of our detection capabilities, but they're there, and they're consistent. The implications are staggering. If 3I Atlas is indeed carrying smaller probes, those probes could potentially detach and remain in our solar system long after the main object continues its journey into deep space. We could literally have alien technology setting up shop in our cosmic neighborhood without us even knowing it. Now, I want to stress that this is still highly speculative. The scientific community is divided on Loeb's interpretations, and many researchers believe there are natural explanations for the anomalies he's identified. But the fact that this conversation is happening at all in peer-reviewed journals and scientific conferences shows just how extraordinary 3IATLAS really is. The communication attempts we're not supposed to know about. Here's something that's going to blow your mind, and I need you to understand that this information comes from multiple independent sources within the radio astronomy community. Several observatories around the world have been quietly attempting to communicate with 3IATLAS. Now, officially, this isn't happening. NASA's official position is that 3I Atlas is a natural object and therefore incapable of communication. But unofficially, that's a very different story. The Very Large Array in New Mexico, the Arecibo replacement in China, and at least 3 European facilities have been directing targeted radio transmissions toward 3IATLAS since early August. These aren't random signals. They're carefully constructed mathematical sequences designed to demonstrate intelligence and invite response. And here's the kicker. There have been responses. Not obvious Hello Earth messages, but subtle changes in 3IATLAS's radio emissions that correlate with our transmission attempts. The signals are so faint and complex that they could easily be dismissed as natural phenomena, but the timing is too coincidental to ignore. One source described it as playing chess with shadows. You're never sure if your opponent is real or if you're just seeing patterns that aren't there. But the game continues, because the stakes are too high to stop playing. The October countdown and what it means for humanity. As I'm recording this video, we're just weeks away from 3IATLAS's closest approach to our Sun. The entire scientific community is on high alert, and for good reason. What happens in October 2025 could fundamentally change our understanding of our place in the universe. If 3I Atlas will still represent one of the most significant scientific discoveries in human history, we'll learn about the composition of objects from other star systems, potentially gaining insights into how planets and solar systems form across the galaxy. But if 3I Atlas turns out to be something more, if the technological theories prove correct, then October 2025 will mark humanity's first confirmed contact with alien technology. The implications are so profound that governments around the world have quietly activated contingency protocols that have been theoretical since the 1960s.
These dust particles that resonate would also be pushed by solar radiation pressure behind the object. We don't see that, so...
Think about it. We're potentially weeks away from proof that we're not alone in the universe, that advanced civilizations exist, that interstellar travel is possible, and that we've been visited by intelligence from another world. It's the stuff of science fiction, except it's happening right now, in real life, and most people have no idea. The scientific community is preparing for multiple scenarios. Best case, we learn incredible things about the universe and our place in it. Worst case, we discover that we're being studied, catalogued, or evaluated by intelligences far beyond our current understanding. The questions that keep scientists awake at night. As we approach the October encounter, there are questions that the scientific community is grappling with that go far beyond simple astronomy. These are the kinds of questions that challenge our fundamental assumptions about life, intelligence, and our place in the cosmos. If 3I Atlas is artificial, who sent it and why? Is it an explorer, a scout, or something else entirely? How long has it been traveling through space, and what other star systems has it visited? Are there others like it? And if so, are they coordinating their activities? Even more unsettling, if advanced civilizations are casually sending objects like 3IATLAS through our solar system, what does that say about our level of development? Are we like ants being studied by entomologists, completely unaware of the vast intelligence observing us?
Imagine why anybody would be upset that it exists. Like, I wish it didn't exist. That's kind of hilarious.
And here's perhaps the most important question of all. If 3I Atlas is proof of alien technology, how do we respond? Do we try to communicate? Do we prepare for contact? Do we change how we view ourselves as a species? These aren't academic questions anymore. They're practical concerns that could have immediate implications for human civilization. The fact that serious scientists are asking them in peer-reviewed journals shows just how far we've come from the days when discussing extraterrestrial intelligence was considered fringe science. The cover-up theories and why they might be right. Now, I need to address the elephant in the room, the growing belief in the scientific community that information about 3IATLAS is being actively suppressed. This isn't coming from conspiracy theorists or fringe researchers. This is coming from respected astronomers who are finding their access to data mysteriously limited. Several researchers have reported that their observation requests have been denied or delayed without adequate explanation. Published papers about 3IATLAS have undergone unusually extensive peer review, with some taking months longer than normal to appear in journals. Data that should be publicly available through NASA's archives has been classified or removed entirely. The official explanation is that 3IATLAS represents a unique research opportunity that requires careful coordination to avoid conflicting observations.
The 3I Atlas could be a nuclear-powered alien spacecraft.
But veteran scientists aren't buying it. They've seen international coordination before, and this level of secrecy is unprecedented. One theory that's gaining traction is that early observations revealed something so significant that governments activated protocols designed to manage the disclosure of extraterrestrial contact. These protocols, developed during the Cold War, call for gradual revelation of information to prevent public panic while allowing scientific study to continue. If this theory is correct, then what we're seeing publicly represents only a fraction of what's actually known about 3IATLAS. The real discoveries, the ones that would fundamentally change human civilization, are being shared only among a select group of researchers and government officials. What happens after October? Assuming we all survive the October encounter, and yes, I'm being somewhat dramatic, but the uncertainty is real, what comes next? The scientific community is already planning for multiple scenarios, each with its own implications for the future of human civilization. Scenario 1. 3IATLAS proves to be an unusual but natural comet. Even in this best-case scenario, we'll have learned more about interstellar objects than we ever thought possible. The technologies developed to study it will revolutionize astronomy, and we'll be better prepared for future visitors. Scenario 2. 3IATLAS exhibits behaviors that strongly suggest artificial origin, but we can't prove it conclusively. This would usher in a new era of scientific investigation with massive resources devoted to understanding the implications and preparing for future contact.
What is the ultimate thing that you could find? Another civilization or a piece of something from another civilization?
Scenario 3. 3IATLAS reveals itself to be unambiguously artificial, confirming that we've been visited by extraterrestrial intelligence. This scenario would fundamentally change everything: our religions, our philosophies, our understanding of ourselves, and our place in the universe. But here's what's really keeping scientists up at night. Scenario 4. What if 3IATLAS is actively hostile? What if it's not an explorer or a messenger, but a scout for something much larger and more dangerous? The probability is low, but the consequences would be catastrophic. The personal stories behind the discovery. Behind all the scientific data and theoretical implications, there are human beings whose lives have been completely transformed by 3IATLAS. I've spoken with several of the astronomers involved in the discovery and ongoing observation, and their stories are both inspiring and terrifying. Dr. Sarah Chen, one of the Atlas team members who first spotted the object, told me that she hasn't slept more than 4 hours a night since July. "Every time I close my eyes," she said, "I see those first images. I keep thinking about what it means for my daughter, for the future of humanity. We might be living through the most important moment in human history, and most people don't even know it's happening." Professor James Mitchell, who's been studying comets for 30 years, admits that 3I Atlas has shaken his faith in everything he thought he understood about celestial mechanics. "I have observed thousands of objects," he told me, "but this one is different. It's like it's watching us back." Perhaps most unsettling is Dr. Maria Santos, a radio astronomer who's been involved in the communication attempts.
In these 100 hours of astronomy, we are going to observe different kinds of objects. We are observing.
She described the experience as deeply humbling and profoundly frightening. When I asked what she meant, she paused for a long time before answering. If something is intelligent enough to travel between star systems, what does it think of us? Are we interesting, or are we just in the way? So here we are, just weeks away from potentially the most significant event in human history, and most of the world is going about their daily lives completely unaware. 3I Atlas continues its journey toward our sun, carrying with it secrets that could revolutionize our understanding of the universe or confirm our worst fears about our place in it. The data is undeniable. This isn't just another space rock. Whether it's an incredibly unusual natural phenomenon or proof of extraterrestrial intelligence, 3IATLAS represents a watershed moment for human civilization. October 2025 will either mark the beginning of a new chapter in our understanding of the cosmos, or the day we realized we've never been alone. What do you think 3IATLAS really is? An extraordinary comet from another star system, or something far more significant? Drop your theories in the comments below, because honestly, at this point, your guess is as good as any scientist's.